listening to the Heartland Author Podcast. I am Aaron Apollo Camp. For this episode, I had the opportunity to interview A.A. Winston. A.A., who is also known as Russ Haddad, is a poet and the author of the poetry collection Growth. I'm here with A.A. Winston, who is a poet and the author of the poetry collection Growth. A.A., welcome to the Heartland Author Podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Now, A.A. Winston is a pen name, and why did you choose that?
Well, it's kind of a funny, weird story, but it's not really like pinned to anything specifically. It was really born out of when I started writing poetry back in high school. You know, as a kid, you're always embarrassed a little bit about showing your emotions and putting that on paper and everything like that. So I just wanted to create a pen name, really kind of disguise myself to a certain degree. And I just chose A.A. Winston because to me, it sounded like a poet's name and an author's name. So I just went with it. And it just kind of stuck with me over the years.
And you're from North Carolina, so the last name, Winston, sounded, I thought, was maybe a reference to the Winston cigarette brand.
No, not quite. But logically, that would be it. But I actually grew up in Massachusetts. I've been in North Carolina for 20 some odd years. But that would be an interesting connection. Maybe I'll have to just kind of say that from this point on.
Now, feel free to introduce more about yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Russ Haddad. I grew up again in Massachusetts. I really have, my background is everything from marketing to tourism, economic development related sort of community engagement activities. And I really started out writing poetry way, like I mentioned earlier, back in high school. I was doing being a reporter, so to speak, on the high school newspaper. My father passed away when I was 12, so poetry became an outlet for me. I didn't really show a lot of emotion during that time period. And during the awkwardness of the teenage years and those sorts of things. So it really helped me cope with a lot of things early on in life. And it really I guess you could say it kind of does now these days as well. But I kind of continued to write poetry through, the early years, my college years, starting, professional life with jobs and a career, and then into marriage and through divorce. And it kind of came in fits and starts. I would kind of write for a little while, a bunch of stuff, and then kind of just life gets in the way to a certain degree. So I just we took some time off, and then during COVID, I rediscovered the whole thing. Had more time, as many people did, had more time on my hands during 2019, 2020, 2021, and really just kind of sat down and realized I had this whole collection of poetry, and it really kind of spanned almost 40 years of my life, from being a teenager all the way through to middle age. And that's why I decided to publish Growth and just kind of put it out there, and just let myself know more than anything else, that I could do this sort of thing and just put it out there, put myself out there, more than anything else. But to this day and to this moment, it kind of rediscovered my writing and everything like that. I mean, I've been a writer to a certain degree in a professional level, as a newspaper reporter, and then doing public affairs and things like that. But this was a different, more creative way of doing it, and it's created a really nice outlet that I hope is relatable to other people.
Now, if there's anything more you could add about what your poetry collection Growth is about without spoiling too much of it, feel free to do so.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it really covers, 3 phases of my life. Kind of the first phase, what I call, immaturity. It's that where you're really kind of, again, coming of age, teenage years, college life, beginning to embark on a life of your own, sort of a thing. So it's kind of like kind of naive, idealistic period in my life. Then I kind of grow into what I call the stage of maturing, which is, really getting established career-wise, starting, getting married, starting a family, those sorts of things, and it really kind of covers that new experiences, interactions with other people. So you really kind of continue to. I was continuing to really learn things, figure things out, and really kind of frame things my own way. And then the final phase of the book is what I call continued maturity, which is really, I went through a pretty hard divorce, custody, all that kind of stuff, changes in job history and everything like that, and then got remarried, and all that kind of stuff was happening. So, but I continued to learn new experiences, new people. Getting different perspectives from people, and really kind of maybe I'm skeptical about things maybe, but also trying to hold on to that bit of hope and idealism throughout life, which can really kind of throw a lot of wrenches in your way. But I tried to continue some positive aspects in that third phase, and I can continue it now. And I really kind of think it's now that last phase is kind of a jumping off point. The entire book is a jumping off point to continuing life and to another phase as I enter later in life. I'm in my mid 50s, and so kind of looking towards what comes next.
Now, the publisher of your book is iUniverse. Is iUniverse a self-publishing press or platform, a small traditional press, or an imprint of a major traditional publisher?
It is a self-publishing company. So yeah, I went that route. You never know. Hopefully, through that route, being my first time doing it. Again, the main purpose of publishing was to kind of get me out there, to prove and kind of get over that initial, apprehension of putting your materials out there and your work out there. But it's also, hopefully, more people read it, and they get access to it, be exposed to it. You really hope that people do find it, the material relatable to what's going on in their lives and relevant to kind of maybe how they're coping with certain things in life. Cause I just kind of see myself as a regular person who's gone through things in life like many other people do. But so hopefully through these works, people see that they're not the only ones who've gone through certain things in life and had periods of time where maybe there's been some doubt, but also, you can work your way through it and you come out of it in a positive way.
Now, what do you hope readers get from your poetry collection?
I think they really kind of can get whatever they want out of it. But again, it's I think it's about life's experiences, how they can kind of sometimes knock you down to a certain degree, but you kind of keep on going, keep moving forward. Kind of have, to a certain degree, a short memory. Don't hold on too much to the past, but also know, but it's part of, there's reasons for why things have happened, why people have come in and out of your life. That hopefully make you stronger as you go through it. But the big part of it is that, what, we all do it. We all go through it. We all have ups and downs. And I want the audience to really kind of get out of this poetry is, if I can make it through whatever, and I'm not saying I've had a terribly hard life. It's just, but, there's been, I've tripped up at times. For better or worse, but coming out of it, I've done okay, and so I hope people can see that they can do okay as well.
Now, what did publishing growth mean to you?
I've always been kind of a bashful person, introverted, sort of person. And having this collection of poetry over the years, I just needed to get it out. It's like stuff locked in your head, locked on paper. When I was first looking over what I had already written and I polished it up and everything like that, I just thought it was time. It was just time to put it out there, prove to myself that I could release this material, get feedback, because that's the other part. I mean, there's always people who are going to criticize and judge you and everything like that. But you know what? It got me over the fear. It was me kind of pointing out that, okay, whatever people want to say, whatever people think about it, whether it's be positive or negative, I'm willing to listen to all that, use it constructively, but also just kind of get over that barrier of just kind of getting it out there. And then honestly, as using it as a springboard to continue writing. And I've continue to do so, kind of maintain that, and just kind of want to keep it going. But it's almost like an endpoint as well as a beginning. Growth was an endpoint to that part of my life, where now what I write about is kind of observational, kind of what's going on around us during this period of time, which there's a lot of things going on, societally, politically, whatever it may be. So I kind of now I can kind of I open up my mind in a different way. So yes, it was for me, but again, for readers, it's about hopefully they connect in a different way to either me or maybe to others if they ask questions from reading my work. That to me is fruitful to society.
Now, do you plan on writing more books?
Plans are, yes, I'm putting another compilation together, and it really is about really just things that have gone on in recent history, changes in society, politics, all those sorts of things. That's really kind of what I'm focusing on. But they're my observations, and really they're tinged with opinion, honestly. And I realize it's a little bit more edgier probably than growth. And there may be some stuff that people don't like, but again, part of that is really provoking conversation. That's what I hope to gain through what I'm working on now, and really kind of, for better or worse, people may not like it and yell it and say negative things about it, but I want that outlet for that part of kind of my things get clogged up in my brain, so I kind of put it on paper, so I can work through it myself. But also, I think there's many people out there again that are thinking similar things that I'm thinking. So hopefully this turns them towards a new direction.
You are in addition to your work as a poet and an author, you are the business development manager for the North Carolina Craft Brewery Guild. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is my day job, yes.
What does your work for the North Carolina Craft Brew Guild involve?
So, the craft beer industry in North Carolina, we have, upwards of about 400 breweries across the state. And we basically are the trade association for the craft beer industry in North Carolina. So we advocate for laws and regulations that are beneficial to the industry, taxes, liquor laws, those sorts of things we advocate for and lobby our state legislature for. Then we promote the industry both to within the industry and to consumers. People who want to buy beer. We want to get them into the tap rooms and the breweries to buy the beer and enjoy the experience of craft beer. And then lastly, we do education, professional education. So it's a development of new ways to do your business, how to maintain your business, grow your business, start your business if you're interested in opening a brewery. So we kind of pull all those three elements together to really improve the ecosystem for economically as well as artistically and the craftsmanship of beer to make the communities in North Carolina an even better place. to live.
In the past, you've worked in radio, journalism, tourism, economic development, and various public service positions. What was some of that work like for you?
So it's all been interesting, and really all of those jobs and work experiences have really one builds upon the other. Out of college, I did some radio, and then I went into the newspaper, being a business as a newspaper reporter, and that really kind of helped me come out of my shyness. It pushed me to go out, talk to people, ask questions, be informed, be educated, learn from different people, get different perspectives, and things like that. And then as I went to tourism and economic development, and these other public service positions, it was more about how to get other people engaged, how to get them involved with community improvement and well-being, marketing, public relations, how to talk to people maybe in a different way, in a more informed way. And then, everything kind of led to, I do fundraising now as part of my job for the Guild. But all those elements from previous work experiences has really blended to make me as successful as I am now, as far as pulling people together, connecting them, and really kind of creating an opportunity for people to collaborate and make life better, not just for themselves, but for other people.
Russ Haddad, A.A. Winston, thank you for appearing on the Heartland Author Podcast. You were an awesome guest.
Well, thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate this opportunity.
A.A. was a wonderful guest to interview. This is Aaron Apollo Camp reminding y'all to write your imagination. If you are legally allowed to and choose to drink alcoholic beverages, please drink responsibly. Bye for now. You can learn more about me and my book writing projects at campaaronapollo.wixsite.com/authoraac. Copyright 2023, Aaron Apollo Camp, all rights reserved. This podcast episode is intended for the private listening of our audience. Any reuse or retransmission of this podcast episode without the express written consent of the podcast host is prohibited, except under fair use guidelines. Royalty-free music and sound effects obtained from https://www.zapsplat.com.